10 incredible powers the Queen of England has. Queen Elizabeth II has ruled the Commonwealth of Nations since 1952, making her the longest-reigning British monarch in history. During her time as Queen of Great Britain and the Commonwealth, the world has certainly changed. I saw it triple. The Queen has used her unique position to promote her peace and charity in everything she does, making her one of the world's most famous, admired, and influential people in history. Her achievements as Queen Elizabeth II are no secret to anyone, but many believe she is just a figurehead for her. Here are the 10 powers that the Queen of England has. Number 1. Queen Elizabeth II can travel without a passport. Queen Elizabeth II does not need a British passport to travel abroad. All British passports are issued in Her Majesty's name, so it doesn't make much sense for her to issue them to herself. Other members of the royal family, like the Prince of Wales, need passports to travel abroad. With a population of well over 60 million in Britain, the Queen cannot issue that many passports each year. She now has several ministers working to issue all passports in her name to solve this problem. The Queen has traveled abroad nearly 300 times and visited 120 countries. Number 2. The Queen doesn't need a driver's license. Like passports, UK driver's licenses are only issued in your name. This means that you can drive without a license. In 1945, when she was just 19 years old, she started driving. Even at this young age, she knew about her car. When she turned 18, she enlisted in the Auxiliary Territorial Service during World War II and trained as a truck driver and mechanic. While she is now frequently driven by select members of the royal staff, it is rare to see her driving around her private property or finding the perfect spot to walk her corgi. That's not the point. Number 3. The Queen is the only person to have the power to appoint the elected Prime Minister for the UK. As head of state, Queen Elizabeth II must remain neutral on all political issues. Although she has the right to vote or stand for office in all elections, she still maintains her neutral position. Why is this? The Queen is responsible for appointing a Prime Minister after her general election or her resignation. She elects the candidate with the most support from the House of Representatives. During her reign, she met 14 British Prime Ministers and 14 US Presidents, 13 of them in person. Number 4. The Queen has the power to veto any bill passed through Parliament. The bill follows a rigorous path through the Senate and House of Representatives, culminating in royal approval. This means that the Queen must approve the bill before it becomes law. What if she refuses? It's simple. It's not legal. Queen Elizabeth II can exercise her veto power over any bill, but she has never had to assert her own power. In fact, the last time she used this power was in 1708, when Queen Anne withheld her support for her bill to restore the Scottish militia. Number 5. Queen Elizabeth II has the right to claim ownership of all unmarked mute swans swimming in open waters. This may sound a little strange compared to the other powerful abilities on this list, but that's why we decided to include her. Ownership of all unmarked mute swans in open water dates back to the 12th century. At that time, swans were often used as a prized food served at banquets and festivals. In those days, harming or killing a swan without permission from the monarch could result in severe penalties for the act. Just stealing a swan egg carries a prison sentence of 1 year and her 1 day. The monarch's ownership of the swan was often given to the people by the monarch. She is now the only 3 organizations that hold ownership of mute swans. Abbotsbury Swanery was given ownership in the 14th century. Her 2 painting companies in London, Vintners and Dyers, hold similar rights from the 15th century. Today, swans are no longer eaten by the British public and are a protected species. You may be thinking, is this a dead law anymore? Well, not exactly. Mute swans ownership laws don't just apply to live birds. Dead swans also fall under these protections, so if you wish to use a swan for taxidermy or educational purposes, you must obtain permission from the Queen's Swan Marker. It is forbidden to sell dead swans for profit if you wish. Number 6. The Queen has the ability to grant a royal pardon. Queen Elizabeth II has the power to grant a royal pardon or commutation of sentences to those convicted of crimes. The original purpose of the royal pardon was to absolve the death penalty, now abolished. With this in mind, in 2001 the Queen declared her powers after seeing a wild boar at HMP Prescott, a South Wales prison, attacking a prison worker and stepping in to help him. She reduced the sentences of 2 inmates. These defeats of hers saved the farmer's life. For this, the Queen gave them a light sentence and they were both released early from prison. It is forbidden to sell dead swans for profit if you wish. The most recent example of the Queen exercising this power was in 2013 when she granted Alan Turing, the father of modern computing, a posthumous royal pardon, for the man in question. Alan Turing was a computer pioneer and codebreaker during World War II. His amazing achievements with his Enigma machine provided important support to the Allies during the war. Unfortunately, Alan Turing was convicted as a homosexual and his clearance revoked. He was then placed under house arrest. Alan Turing died of cyanide poisoning in 1954. Number 7. The Queen has the power to command the armed forces. In 1945, the Queen, then Princess, joined the Supplementary Territorial Service, becoming the first female member of the royal family to serve full-time in the armed forces. Since then, the Queen has maintained close ties with the military. All soldiers in the British Armed Forces are under the command of the Queen, who is Commander-in-Chief. She can appoint and decommission officers within the Army and play a leading role in all military operations. In reality, it has little to do with the military and shifts the blame onto the Prime Minister, Secretary of Defense, and other officials. Number 8. The Queen is the only person in the UK who can declare war on another country. As Commander-in-Chief, Queen Elizabeth II is the only person in Britain with the power to declare war on other nations. This power was last used by King George VI during World War II. In 1999, the Queen refused her consent to a parliamentary debate on the military action against Iraq Parliamentary Authorization Bill. This meant Britain could not go to war with Iraq. What you say matters. Number 9. The Queen cannot be arrested. Yes, in England you can't arrest the Queen. This is much like why she doesn't need a passport or driver's license. The explanation is that justice will be done under her name. When a criminal case is brought to court, the case is listed as an R against the defendant. The R in Queen Elizabeth II stands for Regina, the Latin word for Queen. If the defendants are found guilty, they may consider serving time in Her Majesty's prison. They couldn't have Queen versus Queen in one of their courts and then send her to their prison. And lastly, the Queen has 2 birthdays. Her official birthday is celebrated alongside other members of the royal family at the Trooping the Colour Parade. This parade has celebrated the official birthdays of British monarchs for over 250 years. This spectacular parade is made up of over 1,400 soldiers, 200 horses, and 400 musicians. People from all over the world gather in the streets of London to join the celebration. Her actual birthday is a much quieter occasion, with her 41 salutes at Hyde Park, her 62 salutes at the Tower of London, and just 21 sun salutations at Windsor Great Park. She usually celebrates this birthday with her close family and even takes a tour of Windsor Castle to greet her fans and collect a birthday cake. So what surprised you? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe for more facts.